So I'm going to take this off, even though we're indoors. Michelle and I are 6 feet apart here, so. Do you remember that scene in The Patriot where Mel Gibson is alerted to the fact that the line is breaking at the front of the army? And he sees that dude running back with the flag. And he's like, oh, heck no. And he runs up to the front and he grabs the flag and he just starts waving. And he says, charge! And all of a sudden, one by one, the whole company turns from their retreat and they go and they take back the line. I showed that to my leadership team this morning, and I kind of feel that way right about now. I feel like there's a whole bunch of people that are uncertain and just dropping off and retreating, and coronavirus and the fear of what this uncertainty is bringing. And somebody needs to grab that flag and just go. And we don't know what the future holds, but I do know that going forward and pressing on is a better option. The APA put out a study not too long ago that just urged students to stay in school. In-school learning is the best development for our students. That is research-based and years long. And we want our kids in school this year. Will we have to do some adjustments? Probably. But are we willing to work that and take the risk to make it happen? Absolutely. I did some survey results after looking at all of your parent surveys that you sent in to me. And we found out that 96% of you are excited to come back to school, so that's awesome. Over 95% felt like we should not have to wear masks all day. I'll get to that. And 93% of you suggested that you were comfortable or very comfortable sending students back to school. So in case you're wondering what other parents are feeling, we're in the high 90s for comfort level, for an excitement to get back to school, and for a desire to not have to wear masks. And the reality is that we don't want to wear masks. It's a governmental mandate. We don't really have an option. I don't enjoy putting this on when I go to Target. Not that I ever go to Target, but if I would have to go to Target. But you know what I'm saying? You get to the restaurant and you put the mask on and you walk 6 feet to the table and then you can take it off to eat. Yeah. So whether or not it's the right or wrong thing to do, we're going to require that every student have a mask, and that we're going to put signs on the door that say we're going to honor the governor's wishes and mandate for wearing masks indoors. There will be plenty of times when your student will not have to wear a mask. I wouldn't base any decisions or worry about that. When they're sitting in class 6 feet apart, we're not going to have them required to wear it all day long. When they're eating, singing, when they're in gym class doing activities, they're not going to have to wear it. So that's my request, is that you not let the mask mandate deter you from having to be in school learning. I've had a lot of requests to answer questions about exposure and communication and how that's going to work. And so the big thing we're going by is 6:15:48, and it's self-assessed. If you were within 6 feet of someone for 15 minutes, within 48 hours of exposure, or of symptoms, you're considered at risk for exposure. And so at that point, there's a number of things you can do. Self-quarantine, you can go get tested. There's a number of ways you can consult with your health specialist, whatever your family chooses to do. But that's how you know if you are in exposure within 6 feet, 15 minutes, within 48 hours of symptoms. If you do feel symptoms, stay home, sleep it off. What we're finding is that a lot of people don't even know if they have it, because they're walking around and they're like, oh, I feel a slight headache, or I'm just feeling a little off. I didn't know if I should come in or not because I wasn't. So the nature of what we're dealing with in most cases is very, very much. So many of you aren't even going to know if you have COVID-19 or not, because the symptoms are so minimal. And that's especially true in our students. A lot of times they're going to be asymptomatic. Students don't have hardly any research behind them showing that they're reacting or responding to this virus. In fact, in Minnesota, 0 deaths have occurred under the age of 18 because of COVID-19. And countrywide, the whole US, I think it's 23, and that includes students with pre-existing conditions. So that means that our students are really not at any risk of death for this virus. Now, of course, we want to take care of our broader community, our grandparents, those that are less, that are more vulnerable. And so my request is that you wear your mask outside of this place, that you wear it when you go visit your grandparents and when you spend time with loved ones who are at higher risk. 2/3 of the people who are passing away have comorbid conditions and existing illnesses and different factors. And so it's not that that's not important, but honestly, more people are dying from mosquitoes every year than from COVID-19. And we're making that, how about we slow the spread of those, huh? Let's work towards that. But I don't want to make it a lighter thing than it is, because it is a big deal. But I also just want to put a little bit of calm in our spirits and recognize that, guys, we're going to be okay. This is not nearly as big a deal as the media, as people are making it out to be. And so we need to get back in school, we need to do our work, and we need to move on with life. Sanitization, some people have asked about that. The latest research suggests that the COVID-19 virus cannot live on a surface for more than 4 hours. And so most of our sanitizing is actually going to go during the school day. It's going to be happening during active school hours. So we'll have to watch for where high-touch surface areas are happening. But theoretically then, overnight in the playground, the virus won't live by the next day. So that was good news. The last thing is, I said I was going to speak to masks. We have some masks available at the Blue Jay store if you want one that doesn't look like a mouth diaper. If you want something that has maybe a little bit more splash to it, we've got some Blue Jay ones. Some of the parents were asking, and one of our publications we said only solid colors. I'm fine with patterns. I just really don't want names. I don't want you to put politicians on the front. I don't want skull and crossbones or nasty teeth or things that are going to detract from just a positive environment. I'd rather have masks that are going to be less distracting and more promoting of our culture. So, anything else? Our convocation. There's been talk of whether or not we should have convocation. I think we are going to move forward with convocation. We're going to ask that you bring your own chair, that you sit 6 feet apart, and we're going to have it outside. You're welcome to come and stand. I'm going to keep it to under a half an hour. Remember, grade school is going to be at 8 a.m., and high school and junior high is going to be at 9 a.m. So we'll do the same convocation 2 different times for 2 different groups just to keep things moving through. If you have children in both sections, it's kind of up to you how you want that to play out. I'd recommend going to the elementary just so you can get your younger kids off with their classes in the morning. But that's up to you. We still need some bus drivers and some cooks in order to have a smooth year. We have enough right now bus drivers, but in the event that one would come down with COVID or something would happen like that, even sick days, we're gonna be pinched. And so ask your neighbors, ask your friends. Even if you want to be a sub, we're happy to help get you trained. But we really do need some more volunteers in that respect. So. Same with cooks. Our cooks said they're happy to continue on cooking, but they need more help in the kitchen. And so even if you want to volunteer, we're happy to take you, a day a month or a couple days at a time. We would love to get some more help in our kitchen. It just makes for a better environment for everybody. More hands make light work, right? I think that's about all for this week. Please, as I said, over 90% of our people said they were comfortable with us going back to school. But if you're in that 10%, you're just not sure, come and have a conversation with me. I'll keep my door open for you. I would love to just chat with you, get to know you, find out your concerns, and see if there's a way that we can work to make you more comfortable with how we're doing school this year. So with that, God bless you, and have a great rest of your weekend.